my lovely students. Welcome to Study Web Academy, where education is without limits. Now we're looking at our kindergarten work, phonics. We've understood what phonics are, and we've understood the two categories of phonics, whereby one of them is the phonemes and another one is the graphemes. So we talked about the phonemes, gave examples of phonemes, how to even pronounce them. So right now we're looking at graphemes. And all I'm saying is that graphemes are just very easy to understand like phonemes. The difference now comes in their presentation, okay? So we'll redo that here. Now, you have to note, graphemes are just letters. So when you're writing letter T, when you're writing letter H, when you're writing letter J, or when you're like writing maybe, yes, letter J here, letter maybe K, maybe letter L, letter Z, any letter you wish to write, okay? All these are graphemes. They're just letters, okay? Graphemes are letters. But when it comes to phonemes, phonemes now have a different view. Phonemes are sounds, okay? And these sounds include, phonemes are sounds, and these sounds include things like, let me show you here. So when you're writing a phoneme, it's a sound. So how do you write sound? So if you're writing a B, if you leave it like this, then this is a grapheme. But for a phoneme, it's a sound. So you include these vertical lines here. If you're writing maybe Z and you want to write a phoneme, you include those ones. Okay? When you're writing maybe the sound, maybe F, to show that you're talking about a sound and not a letter, this is a sound, you include these ones, okay? So anytime class you're talking about sounds, make sure you include these vertical lines. If you're talking maybe about the sound S for snake, this is a sound, so you include the vertical lines here. But those are what phonemes are. But for graphemes, these are just sounds. You just write the sounds the way they are. Letter B, letter C, letter T, okay? So those are what graphemes are. So graphemes are written or printed symbols used to represent the individual phonemes, okay? So what these letters that represent phonemes are what we call graphemes. So graphemes can be single letter or group letters, because for single letters, I told you, like it's the words like, let me show you. Single letters are like S for snake, maybe T. These are single letters. But when you talk about group letters, you're talking about letters like this one for maybe fish, okay? For fish, for sheep. We're talking about maybe the letter, maybe this one for phone. When you're spelling the word phone, how do you write your phone? This is one letter, okay? This is an H here. Okay, this is one letter. This is another one letter. So a combination of them brings about a letter. So we can have an individual letter or a group letter. So those are just what graphemes are. Very easy to understand. Nothing bad about graphemes. Now let's move on and give examples of graphemes. Just the way I gave you examples of phonemes, and we even pronounce these phonemes together, it's the same way I'll give you examples of graphemes here, examples of them, so that we can pronounce them and even know these examples. So the letter B here is a grapheme. It represents the sound B. Look at that, very easy. And the letter B is found in words like bat and big. So the letter B is a grapheme, but this sound B here is a phoneme. So the grapheme is B, but the sound is this one, okay? The sound is B, the phoneme is B, but the grapheme is B. The letter is B. Hope you understand. Let's look at the other examples here. We have letter C, letter D, letter E. Letter C letter C is the grapheme that represents the sound S. So you say it as S, okay? Letter D is the letter or the grapheme that represents the sound the sound D. Letter E is the grapheme that represents the sound E or the sound E, however you choose to say it. So these are examples of graphemes. They're just letters. So another example here is F. I gave example for a phone. I talked about a phone. This is a grapheme. It's a letter, okay? G is a grapheme. It's a letter. Letter G is a grapheme. Sh for fish or shoe. This is a grapheme too. Other examples we have the TH. The combination of T and H is also a grapheme for words like this, okay? O is also a grapheme for words like slow, flow, okay? And the combination of C and H represents the sound ch, sounds like cheese, church. Very easy to understand. Other examples we have W and R. This one is read as R, like for example, write. You read it as r, sound r, but when you're writing it, you write the graphemes of W and R. Okay, so class, there are a lot of examples. Y is also a grapheme, X is a grapheme. So basically, I just want you to know letters. Once you know letters, then you know graphemes. Graphemes and letters, okay? We have letter B, letter A here is a grapheme, so we have letter A, letter B, we have letter C, letter D, letter E, we have letter P and H, we have letter G, letter S and H, we have letter T and H, letter O and W, letter C and H. All these are graphemes, all these are letters. So graphemes are just letters. Phonics are sounds, or phonemes are sounds. Phonemes are sound, while graphemes are letters. So graphemes are essentials for writing and reading. Now, do you remember when we said phonemes are important when you want to read and pronounce word well? When you want to read well and pronounce word well, you make sure you understand what phonemes are. But for graphemes, they help us write and read properly. So writing and reading are essential for you as a student, and as you're growing, you have to know how to write and you have to know how to read. And what will help you write and read is understanding what graphemes are, understanding and even like being able to give examples of graphemes just the way we've done. So class, these are the two bases of understanding what phonics are. I will continue giving you other basics, other examples, or other things that we must know in order for us to understand what phonics really are. So now you understand phonics. Now you can even give examples of phonics because we know what phonemes are, we know what graphemes are. So look at the other spectrum or the other side of phonemes. How well do we understand phonemes? What should we know for us to clearly understand phonemes well and grasp the context of phonemes and even understand and not forget what phonemes are? We need to know something known as letter sound correspondence. Letter sound correspondence. For us to know what phonics are, for us to understand what phonics are, we need to know letter sound correspondence. So we will learn the difference between specific letters or letter combination, their corresponding sound. For instance, the letter A is associated with the sound A. The letter B is associated with the sound B. So for you to understand phonics, we need to understand the letter sound correspondence, okay? So even in my explanations, when we were talking about the phonemes and the graphemes class, when we're talking about these phonemes and graphemes, I talked about the letter and its corresponding sound. So now we're going to be looking at that here, a letter and its corresponding sound. So this is what we're going to be understanding. So letter correspondence refers to the relationship between individual letters or letters that are combined, and these letters is what we call graphemes. And this combination of letters and their specific sounds, what we call phonemes, is what we use in representing language, okay? So now in this understanding letter correspondence, we're going to understand the letter and the sound. So the letter is the grapheme and the sound is the phonemes. Very easy to understand. So this concept is very, very essential, very, very key to understand how to write words and how to even speak out words, okay? So it will help us in our writing, speaking, pronunciation, and even reading. So we're going to look at examples. We're going to look at various examples of letter sound correspondings. We're going to look at a letter and its corresponding sound. So we have our first example here, letter A. The letter A can be corresponding to various sounds. For example, in words like cat and hat, the sound is here, but this is not important for you to know. Just know like letter A, its corresponding sounds are found in words like cat, hat, cake, late, ball, small. So you find that there are different ways of pronouncing this letter A, okay? So in words like cat and hat, we say the A like ah, so the sound is ah. But in words like cake, late, we sound letter A as A, so the sound is A. And in words like ball, small, the A is O, O, ball, small, O, O. Cake, late, cake, late, A, cat, hat, ah, ah. Do you see the various corresponding sounds of letter A? Very, very easy again. So there are different ways in which we say this letter A. So for example, our letter here is A. Our letter is specifically A, okay? Letter is A, but our sounds are different. So just one letter, but with three various sounds. Look at how amazing that is, class. We have just one letter. Look at our letter. We have just one letter A. But how many sounds does this word have? It has all three sounds here. So we have cat, we have hat. So the sound is ah, ah. When you come to cake, we have cake, late. Our A is A, A. In sounds like ball and small, we have O, O. So there are various ways in which we are pronouncing this A of ours. It's just one letter, but various pronunciations. Let's move to the next letter, letter B. The letter B it's just one sound, B. For example, bat, book, B, B. So the letter is B and its corresponding sound is B. So this is not like A where we have just one letter A but have a lot of corresponding sounds. We have like A like cat, hat, ah, ah, and cake, late, A, and ball, small, O. So with B, it's just consistent. It's just consistent, just B, letter B. Maybe if you want to talk about ball or you want to talk about something like that. So that is the importance of knowing the letters and understanding how to pronounce them. So now let's move on and look at other examples. It's very fun lesson knowing about these examples and how to pronounce them. Now look at the letter C. The letter is C, but we have sounds that C are found in, for example, cat, clock. So the letter C, but pronouncing it as K, like sound K. So we have the letter C, but the sound is K for cat, clock, K, K. In another word like ceiling, city, the C is pronounced like sound S. Okay, so we have one letter, but various ways on how to pronounce it, just like letter A. So C is our letter, but we have K for its sound. We have S for its sound, okay? So take note of this. We might have a letter, but various different ways, on how to pronounce these letters. Now, we have D here. Just like B, D is consistent. It's just the sound D. D for the sound D. So the sound is found in words like dog, words like door. So here is not like A where you have various ways of pronouncing the same word. No, here you have just one way, like the letter is D, but the corresponding sound is D for door, D for dog, okay? Very, very easy to do. So look at A, for example. A had a lot of ways of pronouncing it, and that is the main idea or the main concept of today's lesson, where we are looking at the sound and also looking at the letter. So we look at one letter and find other various ways of pronouncing it. We find a letter and look at other areas of pronouncing it. So by the end of this class, we know a lot of examples of letters and their pronunciations, or letters and their sounds. So we've talked about A, we've talked about B, C, D.